your host, Cowboy and Spade.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Bourbon and Boxing, of course, with the two hosts with the most out there in the boxing world. Come and join us for the smoothest sips and the hardest hits in the boxing podcast game, baby. How you doing today, Big Spade?
Man, I'm relaxing. I'm chilling. How you?
Same. Got up early, nice day outside. Got the kids out to the park, let them run around. Got some lunch before my girl had to go to work. And then just kind of been relaxing since then, since I got back home.
I feel you. I feel you.
That's
Yeah.
it, man. Not a bad weekend for boxing last weekend. Of course, we did our recap the week before for the fights, the Canelo fights, and the big weekend that went on. The one fight that we weren't able to recap during that week would have been the Inoue fight that I did catch on Sunday. Did you happen to catch that fight, Big Spade?
No, but I did see he got dropped. I seen some highlights.
Yeah.
And then he finished the fight, stopping
Uh,
dude. But no, I ain't watched the fight.
Man, honestly, I was hoping you did because he was back in the U.S. in Las Vegas. I was hoping that you had a chance because I've been telling you about Inoue, and I know you probably watched him before in the past. But man, like he's like the way because he got dropped in the second round, the same way he got dropped in his last fight against Neri, I think it was that he was fighting. Same way he got dropped in that fight, kind of this fight, the same thing, man. Let that overhand right catch our left catching as he dropped his hand, as he dropped his right hand. Got caught pretty solid, down, back up, kind of a flash knockdown. He was up, took his count, got back in there. What I think most impresses me with actually seeing him getting knocked down because you want to see how much of an adversity a guy can face. Every
Hmm.
boxer, no matter how good they are, you want to see can they take a punch, can they get up from that punch, and can they make the right adjustments in that fight.
Right.
For me, Inoue has answered that twice. In the Neri fight, we saw him get knocked down, flash knockdown, got up, made the adjustments, did not make the same mistake twice, even though we did see him make that same mistake in this fight. So maybe he's got to remind himself that that right hand, not dropping that right hand and exposing himself, uh, is something that he truly should work on. But just to see him come right back out against, and I'll tell you what, I didn't know much about Cardena. I really didn't. I had maybe seen him once before, but man, if this kid would have slowed it down a little bit, he
Yeah.
had amazing hard punch, great counter ability. I think if he would have slowed it down and actually boxed, which really hard to do, box with a guy like Inoue, because most of the time he is going to outbox you. But if he would have slowed it down a little bit after getting that knockdown, try to box him a little bit more instead of going for that one big hit like he kept trying to recreate that same hit. And he was swinging for the fences. And yeah, if he lands it, great. He does probably knock him down again. But he was focusing too much on that. And then that's when Inoue was like, okay, I'm gonna box you. You know what I mean? And just box this kid's just boxing to death, really. It ended up being an eighth round TKO for Inoue. And just to me, just seeing how he made the adjustments, the way he did it. Cardena was not an easy fight. Cardena earned my respect for sure, but super impressed with what I seen with Inoue. Would you say the same on your part, even without watching, hearing what you've heard about the fight? What's your true opinion on Inoue at this point?
I mean, he one of them guys. I mean, he one of them guys. He finally came over here to fight, so kudos to him. But I think he could be beat if somebody go in there with the real mindset of beating him and not just looking for a payday. To be
Yeah,
honest, I think he could be. He be every man beatable, but they trying to make it seem like he just. I don't know about his competition though. I don't really be knowing none of them guys like that. Like, so I don't know. Like, I got to take another look at Baron Rudd, Bam, like, and then because some fighters I don't gotta look at their opponent. I can just tell Bam like, yeah, he ain't let nobody. You know what I'm saying? come and take his shine. But I don't know. I don't really be catching anyway. But we'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see when
Did
somebody
have
come
two
in.
big names on his list that he wanted to fight before the year was over, and Nakatani is one of those guys. I forgot who he said the other guy
Who?
was. I completely. Uh, Inoue, he said he wants to fight two big fights two more big fights this year, and he's aiming at Nakatani being one of those fights. That's kind of who everybody wants to see him fight right now. Is
True.
Nakatani. Bam, we want to see him fight him, but the weight difference there might be too much for Bam to try to jump up in that weight. Inoue's
Yeah.
not going to go back down. But he had another name, and I can't remember. I don't know why I'm forgetting the other name that he had. It was a really good fight, but it'd be really two really good testing fights for him to really see where he's at. I mean, not say where he's at. We know where he's at. He's a
Yeah. We
monster.
know where he at. Yeah.
But, man, just watching him in
Yeah.
that Cardena fight, especially as it got later in the rounds, Cardena started to wear down because, I mean, it's you when you're fighting in a way. If you're not throwing, you're getting hit. If you're not defending, you're not moving, you're not throwing back punch, you're just getting an ass whooping, and that's plain and simple because Inoue's out there throwing those punches nonstop, and he's throwing them in combinations. Like he's not, they say in boxing they're always like, man, you don't want to throw more than three. I mean, usually it's like the rule. Any more than three, four, five, six might get you caught. But he's
Uh-huh.
almost how Pacquiao was with that speed. That's kind of in a way. Almost, and now that I think about it, a Pacquiao and the way that his hands and how he can throw that 4 or 5 punch combo, bah, 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 lighten you up. And
Mm.
he's not just coming with a jab and overhand. He's coming with uppercuts, body punch to head punch. And that's all in one combination that he's throwing. And I think that's really what makes him dangerous. But the biggest question after that fight is where do I truly have Inoue on my pound for pound? I had him in my top three easily before this fight. And if I've got to go by who is the most exciting guy to watch right now, it's got to be for me, Inoue and Bam Rodriguez are the two most exciting fighters that I watch that really go out there and they put on a performance, both of those guys. But Bam doesn't have the rest
Oh.
that an Inoue has. And of course, I guess it's hard to put anybody above Usyk right now, right? Usyk, Crawford, usually you're one or
If
two.
you
Are you
saying like most like you saying now what you saying here? Because we ain't talking about what we talking about here.
for
We talking
me?
about accolades or we talking about performance? What we talking about?
I mean, all of the above, pound for pound comes with all that, right? Not
No,
only
you
just
ain't
who
saying.
you're
You
with,
said
who you
exciting.
fight.
You said exciting.
Ex-
So I'm saying what
The
what
most electrifying boxer right now to me is Inoue because of every fight he's putting out something that's getting you on your feet. Literally, he kind of saved that weekend that we watched before with the Canelo catastrophe and then the Friday night catastrophe that went on, and then Inoue came on Sunday, and everybody's like, man, I really hope that he does what he does, and that is save the weekend, and he did. I mean, not only it wasn't just him, Cardena put on a hell of a fight also, so you can't leave him out of that. But I mean, just the excitement I think Inoue brings, like I don't know,
I don't know. It's a couple of
but he's not
fighters
really like Usyk is more style. He's not really exciting for me to watch, right?
Abdullah
Terence
Mason
Crawford,
exciting. I
Crawford
like
versus Spence. Now that was exciting. You know what I mean? But that's not always the fight you get with Bud because he fights his guys how he sees them. You know what I mean? He's like in a way, I guess Crawford is one of those guys you could say, okay, Crawford, Usyk, probably the two smartest guys in boxing. Brawler style, man, guys that just go out there and they go, hey, if I get knocked down, I get knocked down, whatever. If I get hit, I get hit. I don't care. This is boxing. That in a way is that guy for me right now. The guy that I'm like,
yeah, I
man, this
don't
guy.
like that though. I don't like
I
that if I
I
get
see.
hit and
Yeah,
nah. You
see,
gonna
I've
get hit in
always been
boxing, but
a fan of that. Like
you
that guy
gotta
that's not
still
afraid to get hit. It's dangerous, absolutely dangerous. Because yeah, if he decides to go up to 126 or something, let's say he decides to go to 126, the next jump for him, I think. Because I want to say he's at 120, 122. So maybe not even 126, but say he decides to make another jump, getting hit that clean by somebody who might have more power. You know what I mean? could be super dangerous for a guy who's not afraid to get hit.
I
And
mean,
that's
but when you
always
lunge and then anybody can damn near knock you down, like that's just basic. That's that 50-50 in boxing. You just being overly aggressive. So that's gonna happen. But when you boxing and worry about getting hit, it's a different look. It's a different outcome. You ain't trying to get touched no more. Like, but back to what you were saying, exciting, the most exciting. Yeah, he exciting, but we got to start putting some of these young boys on recognition too. Like, I feel like Abdullah Mason is a exciting, one of the most exciting fighters. He's stopping everything. He done got knocked down, adversity, and done seen it. Keyshawn Davis, he's exciting. He's stopping shit, beating shit up. We gonna see though.
yeah.
But
But
anyway,
for me,
yeah.
those
Anyway,
guys are
been
still
doing that shit
growing.
though.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I had to go with guys who
Yeah,
are
but
unified
we
champions,
gotta put some
undisputed
name on the.
champions, you know what I mean? That's who we're definitely we know that Abdullah Mason's on our radar, no doubt about it. We know
Yeah, but we,
Keyshawn's getting those opportunities to actually see, is he a champion? Because there's a fight that we'll talk about without getting too far ahead in our boxing news.
he a
I
champion
think
though. He a
that
champion right now, and ain't no
yeah,
see iffy
yeah,
if he
exactly.
is. Yeah,
But like with guys like Inoue, Crawford, Usyk, they are Canelo, they're the undisputed champion in that division. They've got all the belts, Ring Magazine, all that other stuff. And I think that's what puts Inoue above, like, that's what puts those guys, not just Inoue, all those guys above the rest of the class when you go for your pound for pound. Uh, and giving guys like Keyshawn recognition, of course, Abdullah Mason as young guys starting to come up. But I think those guys still got a long way to go before we see them in an opportunity to be undisputed. And if we ever, because the 135 is weird also because these guys just aren't really fighting each other. They're fighting everybody, but, we're not
I
getting those
think that
undisputed fights.
I think that's just boxing period. I think
Yeah.
that's just boxing period. That everybody
But
fighting.
don't you feel like the
Even
135
at 140, like
first?
140, they doing the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
shit.
140. I would put it up there too because the champs aren't fighting the champs. You got champs fighting mandatories before they actually fight another champ, which makes no sense to me. How you can't put championship belt above a mandatory fight is just stupid. Uh, but I don't know. Like I like the young guys that you're speaking of, and like I said, we'll talk about a fight that I see in a possible future down the road, mentioning Keyshawn and opponent that he fought a lot in the amateurs. You know who I'm talking about. You'll know when I get there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, man. Let's check out last week's results, man. We had quite a bit of fights going on last week. One of the best fights that I've seen in a long time. Fernando Martinez defeats Kazuto Ioka in a unanimous decision. This fight was in Japan, so it was on super early. I had to pretty much just watch the YouTube highlights, and what I've seen in this fight, really great fight by Fernando Martinez, who did get knocked down by Ioka at one point, but still, pretty much boxed almost a perfect fight. Ioka fought back really well. Great action from beginning to the end. Went all 12 rounds, and Martinez came out as the with the unanimous decision in that fight. Of course, we also saw Erickson Lubin defeat Adriel Holmes in a TKO round 11 in that fight. That fight I didn't get to watch either, but went back, watched some highlights on it. Lubin looked pretty good. For being out of the ring for a little bit from what I had seen. Did you get to watch any of that fight, Big
No, I
Spade? You
seen.
were working last weekend, weren't you?
Yeah, I was seeing the highlights though, but I didn't see the fight. But I
Let's
don't
check.
be. I'm just not. I don't know. I don't know. I don't
Not big
be.
on Lubin.
Nah. It ain't that. It's just these dudes coming. I don't know, bro. Like the people they fighting. Like, oh,
Yeah, Adrian Holmes.
yeah.
He's got a decent name on him, but I mean, he Lubin
I mean,
outboxed.
that's a good fight for you to come back. But who will he fight next? Though?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to remember what division or what division. Isn't he a
He won
154?
54. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there's tons of options for him to fight. Next, I mean, honestly, at 154, I mean, why not a Charlo brother who I've been kind of hearing Charlo Thurman talks. Of course, Tim Tszyu and
We don't want to see him fight Charlo no more though. We already
no,
seen that.
yeah. So maybe
Mixed it up a
Mazurmov,
little bit.
maybe a Tim Tszyu. There's guys that we can match him up with in that division.
Mastermind got to do some work.
Yeah,
He got to.
but be
They
a good
put too
name
much
for him.
hype. They put too much hype on him off of one decent performance. So
Yeah,
he,
they do with a lot of those guys that are you're like over in that Russia area where we don't hear about them, but they fight like 600 times in a lifetime before they end up going pro. But the fight that I would have to say my favorite fight, of course, I'm a big Lee Wood fan. This guy is who I call the Rocky of our sport at the moment. He's the type of guy that he will get his ass whooped 90% of the fight. Of course, it didn't happen that way in this fight. Anthony Kakas, trying to remember the Kakasia, defeats Lee Wood with a TKO in round 9. Of course, Kakasia looked really, really good. Lee Woods is one of my favorite fighters. Of course, he looked the same as he always looks in this fight. He usually just goes out there with no defense and just gets hit, and he literally looks like Rocky. Just getting his fucking head beat in, and then he usually lands a punch that changes the whole fight. And that's how he's probably, I would say that's how he won his last 3 or 4 fights. Just absolutely getting defeated, and then he would land 1 or 2 good punches and end the fight. Tough guy, but he took a loss in this fight against a good young fighter and Anthony Kakasas, and loved that fight. Of course, it was a banger. These guys went at it, top to bottom. We also saw Raymond Mortala, who we talked about last week as a possible candidate to be fighting our boy Keyshawn down the road. I like both of these guys.
yeah.
Defeated his opponent by unanimous decision, and what I thought was a great fight by Mortala. Loved what I saw from him. I don't know if you got to watch any of the highlights or check out that fight, but that was a good
Nah,
Raymond
I didn't even
Mortala.
know he fight. He fought.
Good opportunity to get a look at him too. Like we said, it's also some of the opponents aren't the best, are at the top of our list of guys that we know. But overall, it went all 12. Good little fight for Matala, uh, who I thought looked really, really good in that one. And I would have to say, man, this fight had to be the most controversial fight of the weekend. This is still being talked about. I thought it was a hell of a fight by both guys. Emmanuel Navarrete defeats Charlie Suarez in a unanimous technical decision. Did you hear anything about this fight, Big Spade?
No sir.
Well, it happened somewhere. Now, Navarrete was winning the fight, in my opinion. So it wasn't like he was getting beat up by the Suarez guy, but Suarez guy fighting a hell of a fight. I'm trying to think what round it might have been, maybe the 5th round. Suarez comes over the top. Looks like he hits him pretty clean, but the minute he makes contact, both fighters kind of headbutt a little bit, and
Yeah,
then they back off, and then Navarrete's holding his eye where his eye is, and then it's pretty bad cut, blood pouring down. Uh, they clean it up, get into the 6th round, they're fighting, doing their thing. They're both going at it. Great fight. Eye bleeding, they check him out. Okay, you're cool, you can go back out. 7th round, they stop it, check him out, say, okay, you can go in, go ahead, finish the 7th round. 8th round starts, they stop it midway, maybe not even midway through the 8th round, and they pretty much are like, look, he can't continue with this cut. Now, of course, that's going to go to the judges after 4 rounds and that type of. And now they're going to go to the scorecards. Of course, Navarrete, I did have him up 5-2 after the 7th round. Going into that round, I did have him up 5-2, maybe giving Suarez a couple rounds. But the biggest question was they had called the punch a accidental headbutt, and there wasn't enough exclusive evidence to really overturn it. So the ref went with, hey, I saw it as an accidental headbutt. And the big question was that, Tim Bradley was saying, hey, man, that was a punch. And they replayed it, man, I want to say 12, 15 times. Now, this is after the fact, too, after the fight. Now, they should have put that same type of effort into it, for the fight to really determine it. But what I had seen after, God, I don't know, 12, 15 times they showed the replay, it
Yeah,
does appear that it was a punch that cut him. So, which means that would have given Suarez the fight.
yeah,
If it was stopped, that would have went to Suarez with a technical TKO. And now people are like, man, they got to overturn this, blah, blah. And I don't think you can overturn it because it was one of those situations where, like, after 12, 15 times myself watching it, I finally see it kind of cutting. But at the same time, then they go in immediately clash heads. The bottom part of his glove does kind of rub across the eye, maybe opening the cut a little bit more. So there was other factors into it. I think too many factors. And once the once the ref had declared it an accidental headbutt, they kind of went with that and just stuck with that. And I think you will see a rematch in this fight, but it wasn't a bad fight overall. But once again, boxing always comes with a little bit of controversy there.
everybody trying to get stuff overturned now since Devin Haney got that shit overturned.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It
that's the
ain't
thing
really
now.
been too much shit getting overturned in boxing. Like when they start that,
No, no,
like
and they're not going to
it gotta
start.
be, it better be. It is what it is. We gonna shoot for a rematch. It
Yeah,
ain't never really been like, oh, let's take this to the board. Let's overturn it. Like it's too much into it. Like people be
yeah,
losing money and everything. So that means when we gamble or people gamble on fights, they gonna get their money back for the over return.
yeah,
Did people get
exactly.
their money back from the other hand he losing? Or did the casino get their money back? Or you know what I'm saying? Like, so come on, man, they ain't gonna ever do that. It's too much. It's too
Yeah,
much. Like that's damn near you can. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, and that's so crazy because it's like, all right, people won off the Ryan Garcia fight if you picked him, but what if you didn't pick him and you lost? And do you get your money back that you put down? Like, like
yeah,
how do that go? You know what I'm saying? Like, if y'all gonna do it all the way, if y'all gonna do it like that, y'all gotta do it all the way. You know what I'm saying?
exactly. And that's how I said. I said it was so hard to tell, and a lot of people were like, "Hey, should the ref be punished?" And for me, I'm like, no, you can't punish that ref, man. That was so hard to see. Even they had to eventually go to like this upper, like direct, like, because ESPN's got 15, 20 cameras all around the ring, different angles. And they went to this like over top that kind of shows when he makes the contact with the hit that he does cut his eye with the punch. But
Yeah,
that, like I said, it was a matter of seconds between that punch and them going in and, kind of butting heads a little bit. And then that's when Navarrete kind of backed up a little bit, checked his eye, and it was cut open. Uh, but like I said, I think the only thing you can really do is run it back. But at the same time, I didn't have Suarez winning that fight going into that decision. Now, if it is considered a punch, of course he would have gotten the win. Uh, but at the end of the day, I had him down 5-2 regardless. And I
yeah,
think if you ran it back, it's kind of the same results. He was being active, but he really wasn't throwing or landing a lot of punches on Navarrete. Navarrete was doing what he does, awkward landing positions. I think Navarrete really has to start conditioning better. He doesn't have any care on conditioning. He came in struggling to make weight on this fight at 130, so I don't know if he'd be want to run it back. But we also saw him struggle at 135, where we saw him run out of gas in that championship fight at 135. So I think for him, it's just start taking it serious. He's one of those guys who doesn't. I could see him going up against guys like Roach or Foster, what I mean, and just
yeah,
getting completely outboxed, what I mean, because and it's hard to, because he's so unorthodox, throwing fucking, punches from halfway across the ring, lunging underneath uppercuts, and, the way he is in and out, and, he's very hard to gauge. I think if a lot of people want to really kind of gauge him, go back to the Concepcion fight where I felt like Concepcion stood in the middle of the ring and just countered him every time he tried to come in, and just kept countering, just didn't chase him around the ring, didn't try to move, let him kind of come to him, and then handled him that way. I think if a lot of people look at that fight, you might get, the blueprint on how to face a guy like Navarrete.
Yeah. He'd get picked apart by a true boxer, though. I already said that.
Yeah,
Let
I think.
somebody know what they doing, they'd get picked
Yeah,
apart.
yeah,
He got a
exactly.
style.
Because what? Go ahead.
He got a style where he like to jump in and shit.
Yeah, yeah, and he gets hit a lot, and he doesn't mind
Yeah,
getting hit. That's one thing I say. He's got a chin, but everybody's got a chin until they meet that right guy. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And then
I mean,
that chin is truly tested because he gets hit solid, and he knows he's going to get hit. He kind of it's weird. I mean, he's a weird guy, but he's an unorthodox fighter. It was still a good fight, entertaining like usual with a guy like Emmanuel Navarrete back at 130, getting the unanimous decision and a technical decision over Charlie Suarez out of the Philippines. Now we're going to go to some boxing news. My God, you got any boxing news you want to start us out with? Anything that is on your mind? Something you want to talk about before we jump into our boxing news that I have on here?
I just want to say because I know you guys got this shit down. Boxing done picked up back up when we want it. I know that.
Yeah, yeah, it
We're about to
definitely
have a
has.
good. We're about to have a good summer of boxing. I know that.
Yeah, yeah, we got some good ones coming up, man. Of course, Zapata and Shakur, that fight coming up, and that's a pretty good card overall.
Hold on, hold on, hold on,
Before we
hold
jump,
on, man. I can't keep letting you disrespect Keyshawn now. Keyshawn come first. He
oh,
fighting
that's
Dylan
right.
Santos.
That's right. That's right. That's right. But didn't we talk about Keyshawn last week? I thought we talked about his fight coming up last week.
I
And
don't know. I don't remember.
you asked me what I thought about De Los Santos, and I said,
Oh yeah, 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 yep, yep, yep. Sure did.
and that I'm ready to see him face a guy like Raymond Mortala, or even step it up
Yep,
farther. You know what I'm saying? So
yep,
yeah, so we gave him some love last week, 100% for sure.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. You
I
did.
kind of
You right.
love that card with Williams, with Cepeda and Shakur. Now here's my question: the
I don't really like that card.
Shakur and Cepeda are the co-main event on that. Do you
Uh huh.
disagree or agree with that?
I mean, I don't really give a fuck. I'd rather see the fight I want to see first anyway. I don't be liking the waiting and shit. That shit be annoying sometimes. You know how you just waiting on that one fight and you like, man, damn, they got 12 more, they got 5 more rounds to go. You know how it be. And some shit be, yeah, see you laughing. Cause some shit just be not interesting. Like the card we seen last week or the week before. That shit
Yeah,
was like, oh my God, can we get to the next one? Then it was like, oh my God, can we get to the next one? So,
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
main fight I want to see. So, yeah, I don't care. I don't care if he's the main event, second event, next week event. I just want to see you fight. I don't care what placement you in. That's something he got to deal with. I feel like that's
yeah,
what he care about. And truthfully, to be told, you shouldn't even care about that because you getting paid. And guess what? It shouldn't matter. As long as you put on your performance you say you're gonna put on, it don't matter if you fight first, second, last, or third, my brother. As long as you
yeah.
getting what you worth, that shit don't matter. I mean, it ain't
Well,
like
and
you,
so many people still have that perspective of Shakur that he's a boring fighter. It's gotten to the point where that's just what everybody says about him, and I'm like, man, he was pretty entertaining in his last fight. I mean,
man, he
most of the
been
fights
entertaining. Like he ain't been
been pretty
bored.
freaking entertaining. So the whole boring aspect is kind of for me like so overplayed. And to me, that's the
Yeah.
casual of the sport. If you really think he's a boring fighter, you're probably not really watching Shakur's
Like in
fight. You're
boxing, yeah. Yep.
commenting on it and you're making assumptions on what you hear other people saying. And the only
Yeah.
people that think he's a boring fighter are people who truly aren't watching his fights. The De Los Santos fight wasn't the most exciting fight, and that's what everybody's going off of. Like, come on, man, one fight. I mean, the kid's
And he
got
was
what
hurt. He was hurt
20
though. He
plus
was
fights
hurt and he
under his
was
belt.
sick. So
Yeah, and he
and
had a hurt
then
hand, had to get surgery on that hand. Uh, so yeah, that to me, it's just so overplayed. Uh, but you have Berlanga and Shiraz as a main event on that. Shiraz is coming off a loss to Carlos Adames at 160. He jumped up to
yeah.
158. So he's coming off a loss. This is kind of a big kind of fight, a big chance for him to take because if he takes not a loss. I say a loss, but he got the draw. He did lose to Carlos Adames. They gave it a draw, which is fucking bullshit. We
Yeah.
know Shiraz didn't win that fight. So I guess that's why I always say it's a loss. In my eyes, he did lose a fight, but on record, he didn't lose a fight. It was a draw. So coming off a fight that most people thought he lost, this is a big opportunity for him at 160. It's a big risk, in my opinion, against a guy like Edward Berlanga, who is a New York guy. He is going to be the main event, and he told Shakur, you're in my house, respect me. New York's my home, and you know, you're not an exciting fighter. All this other stuff. I'm the guy who brings excitement. Berlanga's got a good mouth on him. He's got that New York mouth, so he makes himself a little bit more entertaining
No
than what he
Diddy.
is. Yeah, no Diddy. Yeah, yeah. What's your thoughts on that fight overall for Berlanga going up against a guy like Shiraz?
I,
I
I, I don't
interesting.
really know who Suarez is. Not to cut you off, my bad. I don't really know. I probably seen him, bro. Some of them, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that's him. Okay, yeah. He probably got his ass kicked or he wasn't really my interest, like, damn, like, because even if you lose, I still might, if you doing your thing, I'm like, yeah, I got to see him fight again, though. He put up a good fight. Some of these
Yeah,
dudes is not leaving that pressure no more. Like, when they getting their
yeah,
ass kicked, they getting their ass kicked. Like, like it just be like that. Like, but
yeah. I've seen Shiraz 2 times. I saw him in a fight before he fought Carlos Adames at 160, and he looked really good. And he impressed me. And I was like, man, this guy's good at 160, but I didn't see him at the level of, okay, he's ready for a Janabek or Carlos Adames. I said he would lose to Carlos Adames. Uh,
yeah,
and then when he fought Carlos Adames, like I said, wasn't his best fight. They did say he had an issue with making weight at 160. He has been struggling, so that he ended up that he was struggling with weight. Of course, there's always an excuse when these guys lose. Berlanga now claims that he wasn't 100% when he fought Canelo. Blah blah blah. Whatever. You lost regardless, but he didn't
yeah.
look
You
great
can't
against.
as a man. You can't as a man in boxing. You can't even come out with no excuses, bro. That's just
No,
like
no. Just take your L. Be a man about it and say, "Hey, I just
if you
got
gonna
out."
say that, you should have said that before. Don't wait
Yeah,
till you lose to say it. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. And
Because
that's what they like to do. Well, I wasn't 100%. I was trouble making weight. You agreed to the weight. Don't use the weight as an excuse after you agree to a weight that you're fighting at. So
that's what Cool Boy Steph said too. Like he when he fought anyway, he was trying for real. It was hard for him to make the weight. But what he was saying kind of sounded like, okay, fuck it. It kind of you could kind of believe this story, but somebody like Berlanga, like, come on, bro. Like,
yeah,
I ain't trying to hear that shit.
yeah, facts. I think it's going to be a good fight overall, man. I think it's going to be a tough fight for Shiraz. I think Berlanga. I don't know. I think he can sell. If he can box. I just think he came out of the gate a little too soon. Top rank pushed him, tried to make him
Yeah.
like a knockout artist, and then it really didn't go that way for him. And then he was over at DAZN for a little bit. I don't know exactly who he's with now. If he re-signed back with DAZN or what happened there, or who's doing it? Is he with PBC now? Because the Shakur's with DAZN, so maybe he's back with DAZN. I don't know. Maybe or just a
Nah,
one-time fight.
Shakur ain't with nobody. He just do business. He ain't signed. He ain't signed with
Didn't he go
nobody.
with Eddie Hearns?
No, they
Yeah,
got he was explaining that they got something like he not with Eddie Hearn. They got some type
kind of
of
like what
joint.
Devin Haney had.
Yeah,
Like
some
Devin.
shit like that. Like it ain't really like he with him. He ain't signed to it because I think his contract was up or whatever. Like he only signed for a one fight deal or something like that. Or I don't know, man. He was
I thought it was a
explaining
three
it though.
fight deal, and Zapata was one of those fights that was.
No, I think it was a two fight deal. I think it was a two fight deal. That's why he was mad. Because I guess they was like, all right, we're gonna let you fight this fight and then get the pay the fight after that. And I think that's why he was kind of salty when he was going off. Like, damn, y'all, I was supposed to fight him now. I ain't getting a fight. Well, fuck it, I'll just let the first deal. We'll do it like that.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, I think it was a two fight deal. But I don't. He doing his own thing though. It's just like he got somebody to be the voice for him because you know Eddie Hearn. He good at promoting fighters for as like putting the hype on them and yeah, well he got that mouthpiece too. Like you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah,
yeah, he had your ass, but he didn't have a motherfucker
definitely could.
believing like he the next Ali, Floyd Mayweather, and somebody, Mike Tyson. So you know, I think
Yeah,
that's what he using him for real to basically like put him out there a little bit more on the fan base, get more fans here and there, people to watch him so they can so more people can be like, okay, well maybe we do want to see him fight Tank so they can push for that fight. I think that's what it's really going down to. Like, all right, I'm gonna put you on the stage where Tank gotta fight you. Like or the fans gonna start calling it out. Cause ain't nobody really calling that fight out. If you really pay attention, ain't nobody we
well,
know
because
we want
so
to
many
see it, but
people don't like
ain't
Shakur, and that's why they're not calling that fight out. And
but people don't know. Like, if you don't like Shakur, you don't like boxing, bro. Like,
and I see that
flat
so
out,
much, and
period.
like I've been watching, like when I first started watching this core, I'm like, okay, people say he's not, but I'd heard so much about how talented he is. Also, I see all that.
When did you start watching him though? Because his
No,
last fights, he was stopping shit. Like, and
well, no,
he
that's what
fought.
I've been watching it for. What, like, God, all it at least back then when COVID, about around that time, COVID
Yeah,
when he
that's
was
when he was
fighting,
beating
like,
shit up.
yeah,
Yeah.
when but everybody talks about, boring, boring. He's not exciting. He's got the best defense in boxing. People don't even see that. Like he doesn't get hit. Look at his hit ratio. So it's easy to say, oh, he's a boring fighter, but he's not like, you know, getting punched is part of it, but nothing says you have to get punched. If you can duck and weave and bob that shit, you know what I mean? In the long run, it
Yeah.
makes you a smarter fighter. And
Ali was
defense is
doing the
part of the
same
sport.
shit. Fuck, Floyd was doing the same shit. I mean, they try to say Floyd was a more fighter. They want to see you take a risk, which is a 50-cent risk, and just stay and just throw blows, but that ain't boxing.
And
That's
I
not
get
boxing.
that part of it because that's for me, those are some of the most exciting fights. Even though at the end of the day, it's probably not good for either of those guys to sit there and beat the shit out of each other like that. You know what I mean? And both of them walking out of the ring with a decent payday, but also other issues that may come from
But
fighting sound. Of course, we all love that because that's a gladiator sport in us. That's that gladiator. We want to see these guys go out there, put it all on the line. It ain't us. So if a guy's out there like, hey, you ain't punching me, motherfucker, not today. I mean, we can't get mad at
yeah.
that guy. You know what I mean? He's the one out
but
there doing it.
but I'm saying, how could it be foreign if you not getting hit, but you doing the hitting? I ain't understanding that. That
It's
can never
because
be
I don't know
boring.
because
Like
people get salty about that shit.
people,
Think that
it-
they take it as
that's how you
running
know a
and
lot
not.
of people ain't had fights in their life because at the end of the day, everybody don't got power. Everybody don't have speed. Everybody don't got this. Everybody don't got all the attributes to be able to do certain shit. Like, all right, he might not be tall. He might be small. Like, he might
Yeah,
not have this reach. He might be better. He probably don't throw body shots more. Like, it's all different shit. It's different styles. It's a million different styles in boxing, bro. So you can't just people saying, "Oh, he born." No, that shit Devin Haney was doing. That's running, circling around the ring.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I ain't gonna even say running because, like his dad said, you can't run inside a square box, which is right. But he was inactive. He wasn't active enough. I'm gonna say that he was not active enough. He was, I don't know, cha-cha sliding. The other dude
yeah,
was doing when he was fighting Canelo. Like, it's different. Like. If I got an injury too, I'm not, and I know I got an injury. Y'all don't know that, but I could tell. I be knowing when somebody like I could tell because I'm like, bro, he not throwing his left at all. Like, what's going on? What's wrong with him? I was saying
yeah.
that the whole time he was fighting Dennis Santos. Like when Devin Haney was fighting, I'm like, bro, I was like. I could see like, oh, bro, like he don't want to. He ain't fighting the same. We ain't. This ain't no devil. He ain't even throwing the jabs. Like what the fuck? Like he ain't even throwing this most valuable punch we all know him for. Like the jab. He ain't. He ain't engaging or nothing. I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
mean the
what
guy we
does
saw
that.
against Roma and the guy we saw against I can't that damn one guy that he beat. Can't believe I'm forgetting that dude's name from out of New Orleans. Got beat by Jack Catterall. Regis.
Regis part. Yeah, Regis. Yeah,
There we go. Finally popped up in my head as soon as I thought Jack Catterall remembered his last
yeah,
fight. But the way he fought
Regis.
against him, you
Yeah.
know, he
Anybody, and the way he fought against anybody, he ain't
yeah,
fight the same. Even when he fought against Ryan, he was coming, he was
Georgia
boxing, he
Bosa.
wasn't running. That motherfucker wasn't running. We was saying he need to stay away. He wasn't running. You know what I'm saying? But now, like, what the fuck was that, bro? Like, that
Yeah,
ain't gonna one more of them type of fights, and then like y'all, it's like who you gonna fight at 147? You calling out boots, bro? No, nobody want to see that
I'm
shit.
hearing Devin now wanting Teo. That they want Teo. That's what his dad is saying. They want 100% want Teo. Teo said he wants the boots fight, not the Haney fight. But
I don't even like Teo, bro. I ain't talking about Teo, bro. Like, I don't
you
even
know,
like talking about dude, bro. He used that N word too much, bro.
yeah,
Then
see how he
then my
was when Terrence Crawford was on him.
yeah, when he pushed up on you, you was straight
Oh,
bitch made. Like, no,
yeah,
I do think we should spar though. Like
yeah.
you a hoe.
He was like,
You
and he
a
kept saying,
old hoe.
"Tell him what you told me. Tell him what you told me." He was like,
Yeah.
"Oh man, that was all like for advertisement. I don't know what kind of advertisement you're doing, but I don't believe that was for advertisement purposes. Like,
Man.
what the
And
fuck you
Terrence
advertising
Crawford is
for?
one of
The
them
KKK?
motherfuckers. He'll
like,
he'll
like,
bust you straight at your shit. He don't give a fuck about none of that. Like,
yeah." And you could tell Terrence was like, "Oh," or Crawford was like, "Oh shit!" Like, yeah, I have to own up to what the fuck I've been saying. Uh,
yeah.
but before we get too deep down that rabbit hole, man, let's start on some of the big news this week. Of course, guys, we have the rematch set up for Javante Davis Lamont Roach Jr. rematch set for August 16th. Uh, looks like they're
Guts,
going to
man.
run this back. The boxing
Guts.
scene has confirmed that that their WBA lightweight title fight rematch is set to headline in August 16th, PBC on Prime
Vegas.
Video pay per view. It's going to be in the TGB. TGB Promotions has a hold on T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, for the date. Through the final location remains undetermined as this goes on public goes out to the boxing room. I don't know what the fuck happened there. I got Stutter and Stanley going on.
It's all
Uh,
right. It's all right.
but yeah,
He
yeah.
say
So
he say
it's,
he say players fuck up too. Players fuck up too.
yeah. My bad, Dad. I got Stutter and Stanley. I had too much information coming in my head at one time, and I'm
Uh,
trying to get oh shit, yeah, this part. So yeah, but yeah. So this looks like it's set for August 16th. Like you said, the summer's heating up. It looks like it's going to be a good summer overall. Adding this fight to it, what do you think the second fight? What do you think the outcome of this fight is, my guy? Is
I don't
Javante
know, man.
Roach
I don't.
was that first? Like you're big on Roach. You kind of hit me more to him as far as like, hey, definitely take this dude more serious. He is a good fighter, but I really did see a Javante Davis, and that's like without taking anything away from Roach and saying that, oh man, he looked good because Javante wasn't on his game. But I seriously saw a guy in Davis who was not focused. He was distracted, and I don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen that from him, but that's not what you want to see from a guy. Uh, I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
Man, I just this one of the ones we gotta see, wait to see, man. But it's like I ain't gonna lie, bro. I fuck with Tank, but hey, man, he gotta fight these guys, bro. Like they talking about he was gonna fight Jake Paul next. Like, come on, bro. I would have been through with him, bro. If he even tried that, I'm gonna be done with him. It's a money move, but come on, bro. This ain't what we
Yeah,
in. We ain't. You putting boxing on a whole nother lane now, bro. Like
yeah,
if
yeah,
you doing
yeah.
that, you doing that being the face of boxing. Like nah, come on. You
I mean,
damn near you talk all that shit about Floyd, but you definitely trying to you feel me? Like which ain't nothing wrong with it, but you following the steps. Like and this ain't the time for that right now, bro. You got
he's
unfinished
still young in
business.
his career, man. I mean,
Unfinished business you gotta handle. But I ain't
yeah,
gonna skip that far though. I'm gonna stay on topic. Now, what I do gotta say is this. Roach, now I ain't been saying it, but it was like who I want to say Mace was saying like how Rose was like, yeah, I really won and running around doing all this, and I was saying like, bro, that's gonna be the way you lose right there, like, bro, you supposed to, you know what I'm saying? Of course you're gonna take interviews because this and that, but you got to be back focused, bro. Like, you know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Because you know this man, he been in the closet. He ain't even doing anything. Nobody been seeing Tank, hearing Tank. Tank ain't commented on none of them boys' fights like he usually do when they just fought. He ain't
Hmm.
been saying nothing. We don't even know who coaching him right now.
Yeah,
Yes,
no,
it's that serious.
that is a question. Though. Do you think a lot of Calvin Ford not being there to training for that fight was a big thing, or be in his corner for that fight? Do you think that was a big part of Tank's non-focus? He didn't have that main guy to say, "Hey, hey, 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 get back to focus, man. What the fuck are you doing? Why are you looking at the crowd? Why are you complaining to the ref so fucking much? Just fight." You know what I mean? Like his focus. Like I really think, man. And then I don't know exactly what it is. Tank
I
has
wonder,
always.
I wonder, not to cut you off, but I wonder if Calvin told him like, man, look, man. We about to fight Shakur, man. Like after this,
Yeah,
man, we fighting these boys is calling you out, man. Like you got to show you one of the greats, man. You talking about fighting Jake Paul, man? We ain't in it for that. Like
no.
that come later down the road when you retire or something, man. Like we ain't trying to see, ain't nobody trying to see you fight. I don't know if they had that conversation. I don't know, but. In a
I mean,
minute, I'm gonna start thinking he's scared of Shakur, man. Like real talk. Like I'm gonna really start
Core's that
thinking that.
younger guy. That he may. He's well. I don't know what Tank's what 28,
No,
almost
take
30.
like 30. Take
Okay,
30.
and
Shakur
Shakur's
is
like
like 27, 28.
okay. So Shakur being younger, in my opinion, I think the two biggest fights for Tank, without overlooking Roach, this fight coming up is Lomachenko and uh, Shakur are the two
I ain't
biggest
even
fights.
putting Lomachenko in there no more. I'm putting Keyshawn in there.
Could you imagine
Lomachenko ain't
how
been active. Like
he
who?
hasn't been, but man, that fight with him and Tank, the size, and I think Tank knocks him out because Loma will engage and they'll fight and they'll get in there, and I think Tank's a bigger hitter, and at the end of the day, he could end up knocking Lomachenko out. But as far as selling, that fight that fight's gonna sell. And the Shakur fight is going to sell, of course. And if he ever fought Davis, I think that, of course, that fight sells. But I think Lomachenko would make him possibly the most money, uh, as far as
It'll
the
make Lomachenko the most money.
matchup.
Lomachenko ain't been active. Like he
He
damn near
will.
retired. He on the same status as Errol Spence right now, man. Ain't nobody.
Well,
Ain't
that's
no.
what we're going to be talking about because if I'm right, we'll get to that without me skipping too far ahead. Uh, we know this fight's coming up. That's a great fight. What are your thoughts about Manny Pacquiao set to come back against welterweight
Weak as
WBC champion
fuck. Weak
Joe
as
fucking
fuck.
Mario in July?
Weak. That
I'm
shit
gonna
is
I'm
weak.
gonna 100% that week because what is going on? Like
That shit weak.
this is like in a opportunity where maybe Boots should be fighting fucking Mario Barrios for the WBC.
Yeah, like or
Or Ryan
Norman or
Orban
something.
should be
Like what the
fucking
fuck
fighting
is y'all
Barrios.
doing?
These guys, like, what? Why are we bringing Manny a 46-year-old Manny fucking Pacquiao back? into the ring, and everybody's like, "Well, you got to respect the legend of Manny Pacquiao."
And then
I
how he get a title fight? Like
like,
what?
yeah, his time is gone, in my opinion. The Manny Pacquiao era is fucking over with. Like, I don't, I think it's a complete waste of the 147 welterweight division time. I don't know. It's a payday for Mario Barrios, though. But sounds like you're with me. Absolute dog shit. I don't really want to see it.
I'm not even watching it, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not watching that shit.
No, to me it's ridiculous, man. I've been asking myself, man, like, man, what the hell are they thinking with that one? So yeah, like me and everybody I talk to is the same way. They don't really want to see him back uh, in the ring at 46 years old.
Nah, he fuck. It ain't that. It's like you fucking what's going up, going supposed to
Yeah,
be going on up. Like
yeah, you're
it's
stopping.
unfinished. It's unfinished business. It ain't time for that right now, bro. Like it ain't
Yeah,
time for no
yeah,
Pacquiao or Mayweather to come back and fight. Even if they were saying Mayweather, who you asked, mommy? I don't know, but it ain't time for no Pacquiao to come and fight no Mario. That's like Mayweather coming back and we supposed to see Canelo, then he come back and he fight Terrence Crawford. We don't want to see that right now. Like we
yeah,
want to see
exactly.
Terrence and Canelo. Like
Yeah,
that's what we want to see.
the actual active fighters in the sport, younger guys with the belts right now, had them, because that division could be unified pretty easy. And I think Brian Norman's got another fight coming up too uh,
Yeah.
here
Hmm.
soon. I haven't seen. I can't remember all the details about it, but I do remember seeing that he will be fighting here soon. But a
Yeah.
fight that
Yeah.
here's what I do want to talk about. This is interesting for me. This is definitely interesting for me, man. You're gonna get Andy Cruz versus Macharo elimination bout set for June 14th in New York City. Now that elimination bout is for the belt that Lomachenko currently holds. The elimination bout between lightweight contender Andy Cruz is now has a date and location. The IBF sanctioned contest will serve as the chief support on a June 14th zone show from the theater at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Matchroom Boxing announced on Friday. This fight, like we said, will be headlined. Now, it's a two-part story, which is pretty cool because it's the Andy Cruz fight. We're going to get into that conversation and where that could lead to, because that could lead to him, if he wins that fight, that could lead to him getting the automatic bid on Lomachenko to either fight Lomachenko, or if Lomachenko gives the belt up, that would make him the champion. Andy Cruz, if he wins this fight, he would be in line to get that IBF belt from Lomachenko. Now, on the headline of that is the Richard Hitchinson going up against George Kambosa that night. That's going to be the headliner on that fight, which is a pretty good little fight. That's for that one is for the IBF junior welterweight title uh, that Richard Hitchinson currently holds. But what I'm going for here, if Lomachenko's not going to come back, and the IBF is pretty strict about, hey, you fight your mandatories or you give up the belt. What I've seen, they seem to be like, I don't know, Lomachenko's been out. They did give him a temporary recess from the sport due to some, with I guess, the war that was going over in Ukraine and all that kind of stuff. But if Andy Cruz wins this fight on June 14th, and Lomachenko happens to say, hey, I don't see myself coming back this year, right? And they end up giving that IBF belt to Andy Cruz, what fight do you think we would see next?
If they end up getting that belt to Andy Cruz.
If Andy Cruz could, because he's in the sanction, this is an elimination bout. Now the winner, if he beats Machero, or Machero beats him, either one will be the automatic mandatory for the IBF championship against Lomachenko, who would have to fight him, or either one, or give up the belt, making them the current IBF champion. Andy Cruz, we know Andy Cruz's history with what boxer?
Yeah, but I don't think they gonna. I don't think Keyshawn gonna fight him right now. Even if he was to get that belt, like I just don't think he gonna fight him right now. He ain't
You
got
know
no
what I'm saying?
buzz. He got no buzz.
I mean, he does. If he wins this fight, he got buzz in his last fight. I was impressed with Andy Cruz's last fight. And then I was like, okay, now his first couple fights before that, I wasn't super impressed with him with what I'd heard of his amateur career and stuff like that. What I knew of him from the amateurs, he didn't start out that great as a pro. I mean, he won those fights, but it just didn't look too impressive. His last fight, he definitely looked pretty impressive. Say he comes out, he looks impressive in this fight, and he gets like regard if he gets a fight against Lomachenko, I don't know. I don't think he's ready for that fight quite yet. He may lose that one. Uh, but we know the history with him and Keyshawn, both with Top Rank. Also, if I'm correct, and Cruz is with Top Rank. Maybe I'm wrong there. He might be. I know that's on the zone, so no, Cruz is not with Top Rank. But so yeah, that's what I'm saying. Possibly down the road, that could set up to where Keyshawn could possibly grab another belt at one at that. Do you think that's a different fight at the pro level for Keyshawn than what it was in the amateurs? Where what did they say? Cruz beating 4 times in the amateurs.
Yeah.
Break it up on me.
Uh, could you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yo,
I hear you.
I said the amateurs is the amateurs. I don't really for real because the punches is thrown different, the time is different, the rounds is different. So we have to see, man. It's just something we have to see. I ain't gonna say, oh yeah, he gonna beat Keyshawn. He beat him 4 times in that. Nah, I ain't gonna say that. But I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see if we ever get that fight. Because that's who Keyshawn should be calling out anyway. He should be boosting him up. Like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, I got to get that get back. It's like
yeah,
he don't even mention that, which is kind of strange to me. But
yeah.
maybe he
So
got a
if
different
he
plan.
grabs that, it could make it interesting. But that's it's also a process that not just becoming a mandatory. If Lomachenko says, "Yeah, I'll fight this dude," then that's who he's got to fight next, and that could derail an opportunity for that fight. I like Cruz, but I don't know. But Lomachenko's been out for a while too. Who knows what you're going to see from him uh, and all that. Juan Francisco Estrada set to fight in his hometown with a little comeback fight. I like Estrada a lot, man. A legendary fighter in itself. Boxing scene has confirmed that the former two-division champion will return to the ring on June 14th in a hometown fight in Mexico. He'll be going up against a former or facing a countryman, Kareem Arce, in the ring and has come back and for the his Banterwell campaign. I like Juan Francisco a lot. Good little fighter, man. Him and Chocolito. Great legendary fighters. Towards the end of his career, though, we saw him fight against Bam. He did put Bam down, but Bam got the better of him at the end. Uh, Great little fighter. Nice to see him back in the ring. That's the news I have for now. Now, we did also hear that Canelo and Crawford was originally set to be in Las Vegas. That's been changed. The fight's been changed to a Saturday night fight, and I don't think they have announced the new place unless you know if they did or not. Spade. I
No,
haven't heard where the new location might be, or if it's going to remain in Las Vegas. I say Dallas Stadium, pretty big stadium.
man,
Keeps
if
it
they don't have that fight in Vegas, they tripping. Right?
Vegas. Vegas is that. Well, they were saying the Spear in Vegas, but I don't know if it's something with Vegas not being the Spear not being ready for that yet, or what I mean, what kind of
What
derailed it.
about
But
the AGM, the MGM, where everybody? I mean, what's going on? Like,
MGM, yeah. I mean, that's another possible spot. I think Texas Stadium's a good spot. Big stadium, Dallas Stadium, big stadium, kind of close to Oklahoma, where Crawford's from, Mexico, where Canelo's from. Could possibly have a nice little mixture of a crowd there.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't see it in no Dallas. I know, I did hear they was looking at Vegas, still probably L.A. or New York.
Yeah, they're Turkey's familiar with LA. He did that first fight with Crawford in LA uh,
Yeah.
that they did at that arena there.
But it's
So
only right. Vegas will only be right for that though. Like,
I feel the same way when I heard that it's probably not going to be Vegas. I'm like, man, what the hell's going on there? That they're not going to have that fight in Vegas. That's to me, that's got to be either there or Madison Square Garden in New York City. That's another spot that I'm like, man, because that the
Yeah,
type
New
of
York. What is it like? New York, like, oh man, they're supposed to be in Vegas, man. I ain't
yeah,
gonna lie. It's
I
only
agree.
right that should be in Vegas, man.
I agree with you. Hopefully they get it together, figure that out with Vegas, and get that on board and get that fight back in Vegas. But yeah, it has officially been announced. Pictures taken. Fight is official. It's going to be
Oh,
with all,
you ain't mentioned nothing about Jamal coming back or Caleb playing fights.
oh that fight. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward. That's coming up next weekend, right? The 30th next weekend. Is that next
Oh, that's
weekend?
when they supposed to be fighting this weekend.
May 30th. Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you see that they squashed their beef supposedly? Uh,
Ain't no squashing no beef when you slap me.
oh man, I'll tell you.
We gonna squash it once we get it on.
Yeah, but yeah, they're both win their fight, and they're pretty much saying, "Hey, that's a locked in fight if they both win." So, without looking too far ahead, they got two. They have a fight coming up, both of them on the same card. I think that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Looking forward to watching that May 30th. But yeah, of course, and I also did hear about Keith Thurman and Charlo at 154.
You talking
Uh,
about the little brother though, Jamil.
yeah, yeah. So both of them coming back. I now the Thurman
That'd be
thing.
nice. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I think that would be a nice one. Jack was talking about that on Bourbon and Boxing on our page that he saw something about that possibly going on, Charlo versus Thurman, and then I saw another thing on Ring Magazine, kind of confirming that hey, it's in talks at the moment for Charlo and Thurman at 154 because Tim Tszyu was going to fight Thurman, but then Fedora decided that hey, I'm going to give him the out
Yeah.
of give him his rematch, but it cost Fedora his belt. The WBC made him
Yeah,
give
I've
up.
seen that. Yeah, I've seen that. He lost his
He
yeah.
had, Xander Zayas fighting somebody for that belt now, which
Yeah.
Xander's awful young. I didn't see him fighting for a chance, especially the guy he's fighting's not really. I think the guy's got like 4 losses. Losses aren't the thing at the end of the day, but there's a lot of other guys at 154 that he could possibly be fighting for that WBC belt that I think is a better competition.
Yeah.
It's
I think
almost like
he I think he
trying.
gonna get I think he gonna get that if he get that belt, they gonna make him fight what's his name? Your boy, the Mexican, what's his name?
Ortiz.
Yeah, Victor
Yeah,
Ortiz. I think that's Puerto Rico versus Mexico. I think it's gonna be one of them. That'd be
yeah.
nice. I'd love to see that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I like man Ortiz, man. He's a deadly fighter, bro. He's like a silent killer in there. He doesn't say a
Yeah,
lot outside of the ring. He doesn't say a lot before the fight. He's never disrespectful to his opponents, and he
yeah,
just kind of keeps the same cool, calm, collective dude. And yeah, he's a dangerous guy, man. He's got a lot of tools to him. I like Xander Zayas a lot. Great young fighter. Not sure if he's ready for a guy like Ortiz, but the saying, when are you ever ready, right? If you're at the
yeah.
pro level, you got to be ready. There is no, I'm not ready for that
Man, we
guy.
gotta get some of these zeros off these boys, man. That shit
Yeah.
fucking boxing up, man. We gotta get them O's off, man. Get a couple losses on these boys, man.
Well,
That shit don't
boxing,
matter.
but that's boxing's fault with that shit too.
Yeah,
Because
we oh yeah, yeah, we oh yeah.
and
Cause
now he's a
they had throw a boy, they had throw you away, boy, after you take a
yeah,
loss. We
yeah.
don't even hear nothing about Jared no more. We was seeing
No,
Jared
no,
everywhere. He
yeah,
took that
and
little loss. We don't even speak of that boy no more.
no,
Conversations or nothing.
no.
But I
I
just say
mean,
some shit with him though. He got some personal shit again going on. Like so,
yeah. I
so
think I don't know, man. I
I
think
don't
people
think he
maybe
focused. I think he lost his focus. Like
I think
boxing
people
wise.
maybe should have taken that that thing he did with the with his car, taping with the cops,
Nah,
chasing, running.
it's
Maybe
deeper than that.
he
It's
should have
deeper
looked
than that.
more into it because maybe he was asking for help. You know what I'm saying? Some people
Nah, nah,
came
nah.
after help in different
That
ways.
ain't that ain't what it is. That ain't what it is, brother. It,
Yeah.
it's something.
Well,
It's something. It's
let's just wish
relationship
the best
wise.
for him. Let's just wish
Relationship.
the best for him. He's an Ohio guy. Hopefully, he gets his head straight. We see him get back out there. He's got tons of talent. You know what I mean? But hey, take care of your personal life, brother. And
Some people can't handle that pressure. They was putting that pressure on in 2 months. He gonna be the next thing, and da, 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 da. That's when
yeah,
you gotta. That's when you know you built for this shit or you ain't, man. You hear me?
yep, yeah, yeah, yep,
That's when you know you built for it
yeah,
or you not, bro.
yeah. Because it's a
So
lot
it's
more
all
in
good.
the ring, man. That limelight, that attention, what's coming with it, the pressure, all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff, man. Not everybody's built to handle that. And but yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything else, my guy. You got any more conversation? Any other fights that I'm missing out that are coming up soon? I've looked at our schedule. I know that big fight I almost forgot this week with the plant and stuff like that. But of course, we'll do our recap on those when they come up
yeah,
because if I'm right, she'll be working that weekend. So we'll try
yeah,
to hit a recap on that like we do here. I like I like our recaps when we can just kind of catch up and get
yeah.
everybody kind of results of the fight. Gives us a little bit more to talk about with you guys. And like always, man, thank you for joining us for Bourbon and Boxing episode 99. My guy, Big Spade, take us on out this month. So,
Man, y'all already know, man. When we talking, be quiet and just listen, man, and comment on the comments, man, and hit the like button if you like something that you done said or we done said. And guess what? Let bourbon and boxing spread, man. Tell a friend and tell a friend. I already know. Let's
that's
get
it.
it. Can't wait for these fights to come up so we can have more to talk about.
Absolutely, man. The summer is heating up, like Spade said. It's starting to get hot. A lot of announcement, a lot of fights coming up. It's going to turn out to be a good summer. Started out a little bit slow, 2025, but you know, I guess that was to be considered the way it started last year. But I'd rather start the way start to pick up in the summertime, and then get some good boxing in the fall, and then towards the end of the winter and towards the end of the year get some really good bouts too. Uh, Spread it out a little bit. I like that. But
Hey, look
hell yeah,
though, look though. We got June, we got July, we got August, and we got September.
oh yeah,
Man,
and
that's
we
4 months.
got possible October because that's when I'm hearing Better Beeve and Baval 3 trilogy, possibly October. And of course, you could get Ryan and Devin still in October, like it was originally scheduled for.
Yeah, no
Uh,
disrespect to that Boval and shit, but I'm not interested.
Trilogy, man, I'm not really on. I would have rather seen Better Beeve
I'm not interested.
because I don't know. Like, I think Baval kind of showed how to beat him, because Baval learned in the first fight not to give it all and gas out in the second half because that's when, because Better Be can go, pretty long in the round. So he just kind of figured out how to turn that around on him and wear him down. And I don't know, not saying Better Be can't, he's an older fighter or whatever. But I'm with you. Trilogy's not so exciting, but I'll watch it because I know it's probably going to be a good fight regardless. We're going to see some action. But nah, I mean, he could be fighting. I would have rather see Benavidez versus Bivol at this point for sure.
Yeah, they freezing my boy. They freezing my boy out, man.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
freezing David out, man. So,
Well, he just got that WBC because Bivol had to vacate
I
that.
don't like how he got it though.
No, he doesn't really like it either. But they'll put him in there against somebody. I'm trying to think who he could go in there against, but I don't know. Like you said, freezing him out right now. But we also talked that division's not the most exciting outside of Better Be even Bivol and Benavidez now. That there's not a whole lot in that division, and there's not really much for him to jump back down to at 168 unless
Yeah,
it's
man, that's crazy. And it's so what's so crazy is like, all right, now these boy like Jamal, did you stay out until David moved up? Like you didn't want to get in that mix, you ain't want to fight David. Like
no.
what was it? Because now you back to see them, man. I don't know, man. These boys, man, I don't know.
Charlo
It's
brothers are just too unpredictable, man. They you don't know what they're gonna do. They set out for 2 years, come back, fight, set out for another year and a half, and by the time they come back, you have almost forgot about them. So
yeah.
I don't know, man. They're kind of making themselves irrelevant in boxing.
They making too much money. That's all it is.
Yeah,
They made
yeah.
too
I
much
mean,
fucking money.
hell, enjoy the life for sure, no doubt. But I mean, don't expect us to remember you if you're fighting every 2 years. Uh,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So hell yeah. But that's it, my guy. Bourbon and Boxing episode 99, baby. Join us for episode 100. Of course, a milestone. That's going to be a good one. And we're going to recap. Not a lot of big fights going on this weekend, but we'll recap the fights that are going on. There was a fight earlier, Fisher versus Allen. Allen won that fight over in the UK. A fight going on tonight. Goddamn, what was his name? Good fight going on tonight. Not starting to about 10:30 later fight. I don't know how much of that I'll catch. But yeah, 154 fight, and I can't think of it. Dude came in overweight. I can't believe I can't think of this fucking guy's name.
Hey, before we end it, the
Oh
dude
yeah,
that beat Tim
Cyril.
Tszyu.
Yeah, Cyril Boachuk. That's exactly who I was trying to figure out. Mikhail Fox and Cyril Boachuk. The guy who beat Tim Tszyu. Go ahead. What were you saying about him?
What's his name?
The guy that beat Tim Tszyu, that big heavy-handed dude.
Yeah.
It wasn't Boachuk, was it? The guy that's fighting tonight? I can't
I don't
remember.
know.
A big heavy-handed dude.
Yeah, the one that gave Tim Tszyu his loss.
Yeah.
What?
I can't think of his name.
What? I wonder what he's fighting again.
I don't know. I have to check it out because I got to remember what his name was. But I know tonight that fight's going to be going on. Now I did hear a couple things about this Boachuk versus Fox fight. That Boachuk did come in at 159, and that the fight was supposedly scheduled or contracted at 157, and then they renegotiated the contract to 160. And then Mikhail Fox agreed to that. Fox is kind of like Fedora, a taller, skinnier type fighter. But he came in at 154. Boachuk coming at 159. So we will see a weight difference here. I wonder if he's trying to make up for that height differential that he's going to be facing against Fox. So that I might actually try to catch that tonight. That might not be bad. Terry Harper also against Natalie Zimmerman. Terry Harper is all right. I don't. She's really big over in the UK, but I think she's just overrated. That's the one that Lisa Boomgarner kind of got her career boosted off of by knocking her with that vicious knockout she gave her. But yeah, when we're going to see her again? When's she coming back in the ring?
I don't know. Is she supposed to be fighting on the Katie?
Is she going to be on the Serrano Katie Taylor 3?
I mean, I don't know.
Bro, I
She
saw
should
tickets for that. There's tickets available for that, like $60, $70. Like, for real? Like, and my little girl's super hyped about wanting to go up to it. My wife's like, man, I don't think we're gonna be able to do it. I'm like, dude, it's like a 9-hour drive, maybe.
Where is
You
it at?
know, it's up in New York, Madison Square Garden. And
Man,
I'm like,
tell you, and your daughter excited. Tell your girl to pack them bags and let's go.
that's exactly what I said. I said her and the other ones could sit in the hotel room if they want. Let me and
Yeah.
her go
Or I'll
fight.
find something to do, because that's New
Yeah,
York. There's
it's
plenty
New
to
York
do.
City, exactly. I'm sure there's plenty to do that they can find to do. And that's exactly what
Yeah.
I told her. I said, man, I looked at tickets the other day and I'm like, man, it'd be up in the nosebleed, but still, they was
Yeah.
$60. Two of them would have cost me 222, after
Yeah.
fees. Oh, and I'm like, that ain't bad, bro. That's reasonable.
Yeah.
Like my little girl's like, can we go? Can we go? And I'm like, man, I kind of want to. Like that would
Yeah.
be fucking like for real, because she's a huge Taylor fan and she likes Amanda Serrano, but she's a big Katie Taylor fan. So
Yeah.
but hell yeah, brother. I'm gonna jump off here, man. Like I said,
All
thank
right.
you for joining us, man. As always, it's the cowboy, and
Big Spade, you already know what's going on, my boy.
that's right, that's right. All right, guys, man. We'll check you guys next week on our recap. Once again, thanks us for joining us. Thank us for joining us. What the